you were singing at funerals.
Yes.
Like left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Like were you like the funeral singer?
Yes.
That to me is like we pinned it. Why your music is so sad.
Yeah,
and
I think
feels
so
good.
too.
Do you think that just kind of like laid the foundation for how your music was gonna feel?
Absolutely. Just that lens that I talk about, like of the nostalgia. Like that was the space where I first experienced music being received and being shared and being felt. Yeah. It was through loss. And I've always felt very comfortable and familiar with death. And
woo! All right, everybody. This is My Wand here at Dash Radio on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Today we have the star from Colombia, one of the more unique artists that I've had the pleasure of speaking to recently, Loyal Lobos.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. This is crazy because I moved from Colombia straight to Hollywood, so it's always such a trip for me to come back to this
Full
neighborhood.
Circle. Now you're here in Hollywood and you're the star of the show. Everyone walking by now focus on you.
I would walk right here a lot because Trader Joe's is over there. Shout out Trader Joe's. And
major shout out. We eat Trader Joe's here collectively like 80% of the time.
I love it. It was like, yeah, my happy. Although I would have to carry the groceries. I would always not think about it, but have like 4 bags and I'm tiny as fuck, so. But there used to be a weird like setup there. It was like a dude and you would change the outfit. I don't know if this was the offices yet. This was like 6 years ago.
So there was a dude here and you would
there was like a mannequin and they would change the outfits of the mannequin every time. So like Valentine's Day they would have like a Valentine's Day theme and shit like that. So I would take a lot of photos, like funny photos. But then I lived a block from here.
And now you're here at Dash Radio.
Yes.
We had to have you come in. Dash takes a lot
of
pride in just great talent. And let me tell you, so when they submitted you over, the first song they submitted, of course, was Como Si Nada.
Yes, well said.
Mi español es basura, pero yo hablo muy poquito. Yo quieres hablo español, but it's just bad.
Me gusta tu español está decente.
Como si nada. Just, you know, what's so interesting about your music, I keep wanting to say Lobos, but Loyal. Should I call you Loyal or Lobos if I'm going to say one?
People call me either, so whatever you want.
I like Loyal.
I like Loyal.
It rings well, but your music is all feels good. It's upbeat, you know what I mean? It has like a upbeat thread to it, but it's all pretty sad. It's such a cool contrast. Mm-hmm. So when they submitted me Como Si Nada, I'm like, oh, this is very different. This is like Lana Del Rey meets like Rosalia. It didn't sound like anything. It's actually bad for me to compare it to anybody.
No, it's fine.
But then I went back. So I went back to the very beginning of when you started releasing. There was Swim. There was a handful of records, and then you dropped your album Everlasting. Which Everlasting you have some songs on there that are so different and dope, like Spring 17.
Thanks, yeah.
Spring 17, super dope. But specifically, there was a record, I want to say it was Si Te Portas, or it was bad, what was it?
Si Te Portas Mal, Be Bad.
Si Te Portas Mal. That song to me is the epitome of kind of your career, because from what I read upon, that came from a really dark experience, dark place of being bullied in Colombia. Mm-hmm. But then years later, you've turned that experience that I know still is like prevalent in your upbringing. You turn that experience into such a fun. The song is still fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's something to it where most of your music that I heard feels good, feels fun, but then when you like peel the layers back, it's some dark, sad, like real experiences.
Yeah.
Is this a continuous thread? Are we still going to get more of this happy, sad music? I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I think the like lens that I experience life through is very nostalgic, but I'm just very comfortable with that nostalgia and that sadness. So then there's the lightness in it, you know, like, I just feel like, to me, that's where I get the closest to realness, through like being sad and through like loss and pain. you know.
But pain in such like a pleasuring way. It's like pain you went through, but it's like pleasure that we get to hear.
Yeah.
So unique. So then I had to read more into you. I had to see like, who is Loyal Lobos? Which we'll get into your name. I think that's a great story too. But when you were a child, you were super young when they put you in the choir, right?
Yes.
And then like they like, I think I read that your teacher pulled you from class and you thought you were in trouble. And you ended up being told, hey, as a fourth grader, you're going to sing with the seventh graders or with the
No, I was
7-year-olds?
in kinder. I was 5.
Okay, so you were 5,
Yeah.
and the other kids in the choir were 7 or 8.
Yes.
So you just had a powerful voice as a little kid.
I can't. I remember the time exactly, but I used to I still do. I disassociate a lot. And I just, I remember being pulled out, and actually wasn't allowed to be in the choir that young. So she went to the principal and was like, you know, and she was like a beautiful figure in my life because she was like Miss Honey from Matilda for me. She was like this like very sweet, light, beautiful woman. And she nurtured just me musically so much. She taught me guitar when I was 5. She, you know, in choir, like learning to harmonize so young.
What was her name?
Nubia Peña.
Nubia
Shout out.
Peña. Major shout out to her.
Yes.
Those people play such
Love
an
her.
important role in our life. But that experience led to, once again, these are all things I read online. I don't know how much of this is true, but you were singing at funerals.
Yes.
Like left and right. Like were you like the funeral singer?
Yes.
That to me is like we pinned it. Why your music is so sad.
Yeah,
and
I
feels
think so
good.
too.
Do you think that just kind of like laid the foundation for how your music was gonna feel?
Absolutely. Just that lens that I talk about, like, of the nostalgia. Like, that was the space where I first experienced music being received and being shared and being felt.
Yeah.
It was through loss. And I've always felt very comfortable and familiar with death and just that energy always living, not in like human form. So I was like very familiarized with it very young, and to me it just became
How
like
young would you say you were when you were singing at these funerals?
5.
5 years old. So that must be such a, because like you're singing, right? You're kind of being applauded in a sense, like you're the center of attention, but everyone's also so sad and everyone's in mourning and people are crying. But you probably had like your mom or aunt there like clapping for you or something.
My great grandma would sneak to random people's funerals
to watch you?
Yes.
That is so awesome.
Yes.
Wow. So your whole life has just been this positive, sad, like contrast of the two.
Yes, totally.
Wow. And it comes out in the music beautifully.
Thank you.
Beautifully. All the music, one thing that I really think you should take pride in is none of your songs kind of sound the same. It's also so different. Experimental.
Yeah.
Like Spring 17, as I was going through your work, I didn't expect something. It felt kind of funky almost, you know, the chords in it were just different. And there was a lot of like instrumentation where you kind of let the instruments breathe. You seem to be very involved with the production of your music.
Yeah, I mean, so the EP, that was the first project I produced, but it was done in collaboration with someone, and it was like all live at a studio. We did it at the studio called Palomino in Boyle Heights with this guy.
Evan, right?
No, that was before Evan.
Okay, before Evan.
So his name is Josh, and
okay.
we did it at this studio called Palomino. The owner's name is Jay Soda, and he's the shit. And like, I basically did it live. So I had 2 friends that are mostly jazz musicians, so they're just very musically aware and skilled. And this guy, Kyle Crane on drums, and Sam Wilkes on bass. And we kind of just tracked it live in the studio, and it's a very like organic, almost folky, but it already has like the pop and dreamy undertones in the songs. And then after that, I started writing Everlasting, even throughout, like as I was recording The Fall, I was already here in Hollywood, like writing all the songs. And I demoed them out. I got all these programs cracked, like Logic. I got the Waves plugins. I had this Arturia plugin, and I was just like experimenting with what I had. I remember I like stayed up until like 4 a.m. because I was bidding on an interface. I was like really broke, so I was like fitting on this Apogee interface that I got like on eBay secondhand, and just like starting to build my studio. And I was semi-homeless at that time because ran out of money, so I would like illegally also rent my apartment on Airbnb like 20 to like 25 nights a month, and I would just crash at friends' apartments.
Wow.
And I would live off of that. Like that would cover rent and my living
Yeah.
expenses. So at that time, like spring 17, I wrote it. I was crashing at my friend's Lewis Cole house. He's like an amazing musician. He's with Brain Feeders, and Brain Feeders like very fun. It's jazzy, but it's like super crazy. And I don't know, I feel like I was absorbing a lot of that just musicality and just more loose about it and having more fun. Like whenever I was staying there, I was like in costume all the time. Like he has the craziest clothes. So it was like onesies of a tiger, like a dick hat, like, you know, just like anything. And it just kind of like, I really appreciated that time of my life because I would have no home. So I was always exposed to different environments, and that just really fed me musically and creatively.
Wow.
And I was demoing all that in my computer, and I met Ivan during that time.
Okay.
And that to me was like, it's like my musical soulmate. We really connected. Yeah, and built the album from like the ground up in his tiny apartment in Echo Park. I would sit on the bed, and the desk was in front because it was like a tiny studio. And yeah, we did everything there.
Wow, and this fully now makes sense to me why the music sounds so mature. The instrumentation I was hearing was real instrumentation from like master musicians.
Yes.
That's amazing. Should we expect, because I know since you've done Everlasting, you've given us about 5 singles, I think like 5 or 6. And are we gearing up towards another project now?
Yes, so Funeral and Como Si Nada, that are the latest ones that came out, are part of an EP that comes out Friday called Una Freak.
Oh, it's coming out this Friday?
Yes.
Oh.
Very exciting.
Very excited.
Yes.
What's it called again?
Una Freak.
Una
Freak.
Freak. Like a freak?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Una Freak.
Yes.
Did you say funeral with a Spanish accent?
Funeral, yes.
Funeral. I love the way you said that.
Yes.
I was like, did I miss a song?
Yes.
Okay, so can we expect a lot of, because it sounded like Everlasting was kind of analog in the instrumentation. Can we expect the same thing with Una Freak?
I feel like, I mean, guitar is my main instrument, so I have a lot still of organic instruments. But, you know, like, I also, like, being exposed to a lot of music here in the US changed my life, and hip-hop was one of those genres that just really shifted my understanding of music, of lyricism.
Really? Hip-hop?
Yes.
Because you don't hear it too much in the music. I don't hear any 808s. I don't hear any, like, hip-hop drum patterns.
We have a lot of
any
808s
rapping.
in my music.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I meant more of, like, you know, like hip-hop drums like that.
Yeah. Obviously, it's still, like, you know, very much through me, and it's not, like, I'm not trying to be a hip-hop artist, but I'm very, like, I very much admire, like, even their approach to lyricism is just, like, I don't know if this is a word in English, but more, like, colloquial. Yeah, and just the poetry within just, I don't know, like, the way they express themselves, the way they phrase things, the way they, like, shape and mold language. Like, they'll say things wrong, but that's just the coolest and just kind of, like, so meta and above. It really changed me. Like, Kanye's music really changed me. Like, not only him as an artist, but as a producer. Like, you know, a lot of his beats were Pusha T, and, like, you know, JC, and everything he does is really cool, and Pharrell.
So can we expect some hip-hop influence in the new project?
I mean, I think Everlasting has an ounce of that, and yeah, moving forward, I have a lot of stuff that hasn't come out from, like, years back that plays more with it. I would say, like, Una Freak would be the most track heavy, you know, like, that I've done, but it still stays pretty organic. Like, I think it's very grounding to play instruments and to include instruments in tracks, so I always try to keep a balance And yeah, we're also gearing up for a second EP after that I turned in 2 days ago. So
you
I'm
are
really
already
excited.
ready.
Yeah, it's been such a journey, you know,
Yeah.
to get a team on board and just to like, it's crazy. Like people don't realize there's this struggle of being an artist, but like just your inability to release music consistently. And I know obviously like with DSPs and the internet, like it's changed a lot and it's empowered artists to be able to like put themselves out there a lot, but it's still really hard, you know? So I had a lot of periods where I wouldn't release music for a while, and during that time I kept writing, so I had all these songs just ready to...
Just ready. And
yeah,
now we're getting back-to-back EPs. Are you going to release one and let it live for a while, or are you trying to come like back-to-back, like one and then the next one?
I mean, I'm going to give it a little bit, but I'm also like so excited that I'm like, let's go. I have just so much music to share.
I know that's
I'm
always
so
tough as an artist when we get the album, but you've been sitting on it for like a year.
Yeah, I'm like,
and you're ready to show us the new stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time listening back. Once I release something, I have a really hard time.
You just let it
hearing
go.
it again.
Let it go. Well, I do have to give you a gift. I gift every artist Loyal an album normally from my CD collection, but you had a very eclectic set of artists who inspired you.
Yeah.
And so I wandered around Hollywood and I found you a CD. I don't know if you grew up off this or not, but I think this is an artist that played an important role in your life. If you actually reach under this table, like right here, underneath here, like all the way like this side, like right here. Sorry, like right here.
So
You'll
blind.
feel a CD right there.
Oh my god. Chen Chen Chen. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
Is that one that you
I mean,
grew up on?
absolutely. Like her music was one of the first songs I wrote. Like Alfonsina y el Mar, she wasn't a composer, but she was a cantadora, so she would interpret all these songs and they feel like hers.
Wait, what was she again?
Mercedes Sosa.
No, cantadora?
Cantadora.
What does that mean?
It's like, so flamenco singers are cantadoras, or like Latin American folk traditional singers are cantadoras.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cantadoras.
And Alfonsina y el Mar, which is a cover I have, that's hers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
yeah.
like since I was 4 or 5, I was just singing her. She very, very much influenced me as a...
That's what I read, that your dad had you listening to her,
Yes.
Sylvia Rodriguez.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
And when I found this album, I looked a little bit deeper into the album. That's actually her just doing like over a lot of her most popular songs over the guitar.
Wow,
It's
beautiful.
like stripped down version of her music.
Todo Cambia is like that song always hits me really
Well,
hard.
that is yours to keep.
Thank you.
Of course, I had to give you something that I felt inspired you. But you were, I felt weird if I would have just given you like a Kanye West, like a Michael Jackson album.
I mean, I still would have been so happy because I love Kanye.
Definitely, but I
and
wanted to
Michael
go
Jackson.
deep, and I wanted to give you something that maybe
This
took
is
you back
very
to
deep,
home.
and I really appreciate it.
Of course. Now I gotta ask. So you left Columbia
Mm-hmm.
to go to the Musicians Institute, right?
Yes.
Here in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, as you kind of alluded to, times got tough, right? Now, when times were tough, did your parents know that you were like couch hopping and struggling out here?
Not completely. I felt just kind of... I didn't want to worry them or stress them out. Like, it was already such an effort to send me here. Also, like, when they sent me here, it's weird because in Colombia we do thousands, so like there's not 1 peso, it's 1,000. Like the lowest coin is 50 pesos, and that's like cents, not even a cent or whatever. So when I moved here, the dollar was 1,800 pesos. Now it's 5,000 pesos. You know, so like as time went by, the dollar kept going up. So it was not only already an effort of like twice as much, and just I got as many scholarships as I could. Like I got the Stanley Clark scholarship and other stuff at MI. But thanks, yeah, it was cool. Also, like I got 3rd place, and and randomly there used to be a bar here called the Piano Bar. Mm-hmm. It was like I think down Cahuenga, and it was a really cool spot, super tiny, and this like massive ugly ass hotel just like tore it down. But it used to be like the best jazz music was played there, and I would go there a lot. and I met Natasha, grandmother, who's Stanley Clark's like stepdaughter.
Oh wow.
So she invited me to my first Thanksgiving in the U.S. was at his house.
Wow.
But the whole dinner, he was just like, I wanted you to win. Like, it wasn't me. And I was just like, yeah, right, bro. Just kidding.
Hey, you got a scholarship at least.
I did. And I got to, like, have Thanksgiving dinner with Stanley Clark, which was pretty fucking dope.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
That must have been super tough to just, like, I know people who were born and raised out here and have a hard time surviving in LA. Then when people come from out of state and the cost of living is 2-3 times, then for you to come from Colombia, the cost of living is probably 10-15 times here.
Mm-hmm.
I know your family was, very hard working.
Yeah.
Shout out to your moms.
Yes.
Is she still on the farm?
Well, yeah, she's still working hard on the farm stuff. She now grows, like, organic produce in this region that used to be, like, conflict territory. And then she'll, like, deliver groceries. So she'll bring them from like rural areas, it's like 5 hours from the city, and then brings it home, grows a lot of stuff herself, and then sells it to people around her. But she gives, I think it's 90% of the profits to the farmers. So it's just kind of like a facilitator and taught them how to grow organic and all that. So
that's so amazing.
Yeah, but she used to be a what do you call that? Like investment bank. Like she would like tell you how much your company was worth and help you sell it and stuff like that.
Very interesting. Well, it sounds like she worked very hard.
She's very hardworking, very badass, very scary woman.
Yes, that is what I read.
Yes.
So I imagine it wasn't easy for you to just reach out and be like, "Hey, mom, dad, I need," blah blah blah. So you've definitely been through some ups and downs here in LA, but I gotta applaud you because it is not easy to survive in Los Angeles, one of the most expensive places. Not only have you survived, you have thrived. You've made multiple EPs. Mm-hmm. You've been here for years now. So do you feel like you're a Los Angeles native now?
No, I'll never say that.
Really?
No, fuck it. No.
I feel like you give the energy, and like you remind me of like Silver Lake. You know?
Am I Silver Lake in a bit?
Yeah, I don't know. You just give me real Silver Lake energy now.
I fuck with Silver Lake.
Yeah,
I think it's where
too.
I felt the most at home. I live there.
You do? See, I didn't even know that.
I know. I'm like, fuck. Did I say
Loyal
Silver
Lobos
Lake?
live in Silver Lake.
Fuck.
Catch you at the Vasitos down on Sunset.
Am I like the image of a hipster meme?
It's not even the hipster. It's Silver Lake is very like retro but modern.
Right.
Oh, it's just cool. I'll say cool is the right way to put it. Do you ever go back though?
I go back at least twice a year, if not more.
Oh, amazing.
I stay very close. Like, my best friends are both there. I talk to my best friend every day. Like, she's my wife. We talk every morning. Sometimes we do, like, let's see what we're grateful for today. It's really fucking cute.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, shout out Dena.
What's her name?
Ana Maria, but I call her Dena.
Okay, Ana Maria, a.k.a. Dena.
We love you. Yes. And all my family's there, so I go a lot. And I mean, I don't know if I want to die in LA. If I plan, if I live a long life, who knows? But I really appreciate this city because this city allowed me to, and continues to allow me to reinvent myself. And this city just applauds individuality and uniqueness a lot. So it's been such a beautiful thing, especially as an artist, to have that, around you to explore.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And there's so much of a Latin community here, so your music can find a home here to a lot
Absolutely.
of fans. You are so positively dark, it's crazy. I don't know if you realize you had brought up the way you alluded to, like, if you're going to be in LA forever, you're like, I don't know if I want to die in LA.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Like, I want to die in Colombia. And then even your necklace, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a coffin.
Is that a coffin with a cross on it?
Yes.
That is, I cannot think of anything that embodies you more than a coffin with a cross on it.
Yeah.
You are a really interesting soul. I think you're, and I say that in the utmost like complimentive way because you're one of one, and I think your childhood experiences really just mapped out the kind of individual that you are now.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have been
Even
born
for
where
the
I was.
funeral experiences.
All of it, I loved it. I loved it.
That is crazy. So when you're singing at a funeral, everyone is crying while you're singing. Like, is there a specific? Is there like a national anthem for funerals, you know, like.
I mean, like, my signature song was the Ave Maria by Schubert.
Okay.
And there was this one called Más Allá. That's so cute. It was very hopeful. And yeah, that'll be my two solo moments, and then just the whole repertoire.
But then, like, while you're singing, everybody must have been crying.
Yeah.
Which
I loved.
Listen,
I was like, success.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, I mean, everybody
It hit
cried.
them.
This is just the epitome of what I feel like your life has led to, and your music now. You get, like I was saying at the beginning of this, such a positive feel, but then when you listen to the lyrics or like some of your song titles I translated, like Rosas Negras, like black roses.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so dark. Like a rose is such a beautiful, amazing, like it's such a positive concept, you know what I mean? But then a black one, I'm like, I immediately was like, have I seen a black rose? Is that even a thing?
It's like dead roses.
You see, you are just something else.
Thank you.
No, very one of one. You remind me of like Kid Cudi almost.
Oh fuck yeah, I love Kid Cudi.
Yeah, his music, it means so, it's gotten so many people through so much stuff, but it's also so dark and feels good.
It does have like a very harmonic and melodic like beauty to it. It's like
absolutely
maybe like light blue and light pink.
Yeah.
You know, within all that darkness.
You know, because everything has beauty to it. I think that's something that you might do well is just you find the beauty in the madness. I know a lot of times when artists go through like heartbreak or different bad experiences, they kind of get into a dark place, and then sonically their music gets dark. But your music stays like upbeat and positive while it's not, you know?
Yeah.
It's very interesting take on emotions.
I think a really good balance to like this kind of music that it's, you know, Mercedes stuff is like, like Alfonsina y el Mar, it's a masterpiece of a song because it was written by Ariel Ramirez and Feliz Luna, that are like a lyricist and a composer from those times, and it's about Alfonsina Storni, that was like the Sylvia Plath of Latin America, like a very amazing poet, and she lived in Argentina and she committed suicide by like jumping off a plane into the ocean at a country club in Argentina.
Oh my God.
So the song is called Alfonsina y el Mar and the Ocean. Alfonsina and the Ocean.
Oh, that's so dark.
And the lyrics are just fucking incredible. Like, and the way Mercedes like performs it is like, I was like very afraid of covering it because I was like, you know, she's amazing and I don't want to, but I don't know, like a balance to that at the same time, like Rihanna, like Te Amo by Rihanna, I was like, fuck, this shit is so good, like just makes me feel so good. There's so much depth, even if like pop always like balanced out my life a lot. And I used to be like, you know, when I was doing jazz and shit, I was like, fuck pop or whatever, but I'm a pop slut. Like I love it.
I'm a pop slut.
Yes, absolutely.
Your music doesn't feel too pop though.
No, because I feel like my roots are very much like in a different, more dissonant like environment, but I really love and appreciate that. And I think, for example, Kid Cudi, like, I mean, there is the lightness to it. I think it's that popness, you know?
Certainly.
And I really like playing with those contrasts, and yeah, I think there's always, I strive always to find lightness in being, you know, and just kind of like, just find the beauty in everything.
Yeah, we definitely do a good job of it, and the music is wonderful, just like a well-plated dish. Like it all comes together great. Your video for Criminal, it all fit, you know? I could tell you have your hands on everything.
Yeah.
So you write all your music, right? Or, yeah, it sounds like you've written everything you sang, except like the covers.
Except Alfonsina, yes.
Very instrumental in your music. How long have you been writing music?
I mean, I have this memory when I was 4, like sitting on a toilet, like lid closed, and my mom transcribing lyrics. Like I learned how to write at like age 4 or 5, but
wow.
I know, but I'm like the worst student in the fucking world. Like, don't ask me anything. I'm like completely empirical about my knowledge, and anything I learned was like to do what I wanted to do, but I didn't give a fuck about like homework or shit like that. But
Yeah, you don't seem like the type who had all A's, but I feel like you could have had all A's if you were passionate about
I
it.
only had all A's my last year of school because mom was like, I'm not paying your school anymore.
Oh, when you were in college out here?
No, in Colombia.
Oh.
Yeah, because public education it's gotten a lot better in Colombia, but it's not that good. And then most of the education in the city is private, but then it depends on what school you go to, how much you pay, and like
Okay.
you know, classism is measured by what school you went to. You know what I mean?
Wow. So
Yeah.
your mom was like, if you don't pass.
Yeah. So my mom was like, yeah, I'm not paying for your last year of school. And my dad, who's a fucking G, I love him, he was always like, I got you. But my mom I think at that time my mom was making a lot more. And I was like, all right. So when my dad had to pay my school, I got all A's. And my mom was so mad. She was like, I couldn't get you to do that.
But you're definitely smart. I can tell you definitely have a good head on your shoulders.
Evan is like, you're book smart without the books. And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
I can kind of understand that. So what can we expect? So the new project, Una Farik, is it going to sonically be like everlasting? Or are you trying out something different?
I mean, I think the essence and the source is going to always stay very much me. But yeah, I'm like, songs are just shorter. Like Everlasting has almost 5-minute long songs. And I was just kind of like going off and like, until I didn't reach certain depth of sound through like transitions, I wasn't satisfied. This one feels a lot like simpler for me. It was a process of just kind of like, okay. I mean, I was in an environment, I think life and God just put me in a place where I was like, okay, you have a team. There's certain expectations. Like there was a lot of changes within the team. So I was like, okay, I need to deliver an EP and I just need to like let go of things and just focus on making it. And I really appreciated that because it made me just approach music from a different place. And obviously I'll always be very on top of things, like co-produce a lot of this stuff and write everything, but it was cool because this one feels it's lighter, it's simpler.
I love that.
But yeah, in a good
Everlasting was very deep. A lot of the
Very
concepts.
dense,
yeah, very dense. So this is a little like took a step back and not I think saying dumbing it down makes it sound bad, but sometimes it's just making it more consumable.
Yeah.
You know, for like the everyday listener.
Yeah, more digest. I mean, part of the goals were like I was like, my cousins support me, but they were always just very confused by me and like what I do and like my music even. And for me, it was like for example, with the Funeral, I was like, I want to make a song that is completely me, but my cousins like get excited about it. And I didn't even tell them about it. And after it came out, they all wrote to me. They like play it all the time, and I'm like, yes.
That must have felt good.
Yes. So yeah, it was cool.
Okay, and then is the follow-up EP more the same? Just
No, the follow-up one is maybe a hybrid. Like, so the follow-up one I produced more on it, and just I was a little more difficult with it, you know,
Yeah.
but in a good way. Like, I just because the follow-up one is gonna be a volume 1 and 2 thing, and it's like it feels a little bit more like an album, and to me then it has to be cohesive.
Yeah.
In a way, there has to be like some type of like
theme or like common thread.
Exactly,
Yeah.
common thread.
Yeah.
So yeah, the one coming up is gonna be I was a little more anal about it, you know, than maybe like.
Well, this is very exciting for your fans. You have a lot coming out.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a very busy year or two ahead of you.
Hopefully.
What is like one milestone that Loyal Lobos is waiting to hit? You know what I mean? Like this is gonna happen in my career, and then I know you know what I mean? You've
like
accomplished
in the near future, or
yeah,
like.
Yeah.
I mean, a big dream and goal that I have is a good big headlining show in Bogota. I feel like that would be a complete like full circle for me. I mean, I have a lot, and it's hard to measure success or accomplishments. I don't know.
What about a long-term goal then? What's something like long-term that you you're like, this, I'm gonna get this done before I die in Colombia, because you're not gonna die here in LA.
Okay, so yesterday I had like my first TV appearance and I didn't sleep at all. Like, yeah, but I like get really bad insomnia. So, yeah, so I was like up all night and I was like just thinking about stuff. Just a thought that came to mind was like, and I'm like a little bit like, fuck Grammys and all that, but I was like, I would love in my dad's lifetime to get a Grammy and then give it to him. So, and he's a dentist, so I was like, maybe he'll put it in his office.
Yeah, dental office.
And it looked very fucking cute.
Yeah.
That was all. But I don't know, like.
That's a good one though. Get a Grammy, give it to your
Yeah,
boss.
which is a little lame because it's like the typical thing, but just I don't know. I feel like he would dig that. And then, yeah, just I want to. Mostly, I always want to level myself up. So I always just want to be better at shit. And then, yeah, I want to play stadiums, and I just want to connect with as much people as I can.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna happen. I definitely your
Hopefully.
music sounds like it's meant to be played in front of thousands of people just screaming their hearts out.
Thank you.
And I love that when you do your songs, it's either like fully, unless I'm wrong, but either fully English or fully Spanish.
Yeah, there's like, for example, Si Te Portas just says like "Be Bad Baby" here.
Yeah,
and there.
yeah.
You know, there's like a little thing, that follow-up EP that I was telling you about, like for the first time, there's one song in English and then there's the Spanish version. That was really fun to do.
Well, you mentioned once that you felt like doing music in Spanish, it's different because the language is more complex.
Yeah.
Right? It almost gives you more tools to work with, because like the masculinity or feminine of words.
Absolutely. Not only that, it's more consonant heavy. Like English is a very, like vowel. It's very like round.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, and then Spanish is like RST, like everything is very hard. So rhythmically, it's a lot more complex. So like fit words and just like, yeah, like the syllables that you would have in an English song almost sometimes fall short if you were to say it in Spanish.
Interesting.
Like you will need more syllables.
So are we gonna expect a good mix of like 50-50 English and Spanish? Or
We're doing more Spanish because I feel like
Ooh,
Everlasting was mostly English, and
Yeah,
I
it
had
was.
so much Spanish material ready to put out. So yeah, maybe like 80-20 right now.
Oh.
But I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So part of this, I have to listen. I have to, but I listen to the artist's music. Today, last 2 days have just been very eclectic days, like very reflective. I've just been like listening to this real feel good music. Then I'm like, oh, that's dark. I'm like, oh my god, I remember when that happened to me. You know?
Yes, that's my shit.
Yeah,
I love it.
There's absolutely what you've done. You've given us music that we can feel good about, but also reflect on things we might have been through.
That's special.
So I'm very excited to see what this next chapter of your career has. I feel like this is your moment, like you've been building for this moment. So, because you came out with Everlasting, and then we had the pandemic, so you weren't able to. I imagine you weren't able to do what you wanted to do with that project.
No, it was great. I also I fired my managers.
Wow.
Right. It is honestly, I love them. Mostly. Most of them. Just kidding. But it was like just difference of opinions, and I really felt like, yeah, it was not the right fit, but it was a really risky move because I had worked so hard to like get to a place where I had a team, and then losing that, it was kind of like very confusing and a little scary, but like I built it back up. I still don't have a manager, and I do feel very proud that I was able to continue creating through those times of like not knowing what was gonna happen or what was the point or if anybody would fucking care or listen. And then that I was able to like find a team and a label that supports me, and doing that without a manager was also like exciting for me because it kind of like,
I don't think I've ever heard of this before. It's amazing.
yeah.
That's awesome. You're self-managed.
Yep.
She doesn't need no manager. You heard that?
I
man?
do. Hit me up. I'm tired of it.
Loyal Lobos. Everything about you is just so unique and different. Even your story, funniest story of how you got your name, if I'm correct. You were trying to think of an artist name so you can kind of like play into a character, you know, and be able to like almost like escapism. Like let me like separate from reality.
Yeah, I was like writing about such personal stuff, which is also why I started writing in English. It felt a little safer. And then I also, I don't know, like just my name with it felt like just very exposing.
Yeah, definitely. But then one of your friends just came up with the term Loyal Lobos and it just stuck.
Yeah, we were in Hollywood. He came over and his name is Kenny. He has a band called Goon. It's like a local band, like kind of like rock punk a little bit. And he was like, I have these two words stuck in my head. I really feel like it was sent to me through him and he was the messenger, because then it took all this meaning for me that it's very special. Like, you know, the she-wolf is such a symbolic figure in mythology, like Romulo y Remulo in the Roma, like they were the, Ariana's Italian, am I doing this right? So Romulo y Remulo from Rome, they like, I think founded Rome or something like that, something cool they did. And the story was that they were left in the forest and a she-wolf found them as babies and she raised them. So there's all these statues in Rome of a she-wolf with two babies, like.
What does that have to do with
being
Lobos?
fed. Lobos means wolf in Spanish.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
So it's Loyal Lobos. Also, like, the whole concept of wolves is the wolf pack and just that loyalty and that kind of, like, fierce, lovable nature of them that I identify with us a lot. And then on the femininities, like the mother figure, but also, like, a loba is like almost like a punished for their sensuality figure, especially like in Spanish slang, like some time ago, this is a little dated, but like if you called that woman a loba, it was like she would dress tacky and show too much skin and things like that. So I think it just holds a lot of meaning.
And now you've given it so many definitions. That's awesome.
Totally.
Now you're going to have a lot of loyal Lobos fans.
I know, every time I like say like, oh yeah, like loyal fans, I'm like, shit, like no pun intended, but that's kind of cool.
They're literally loyal fans.
Yes, exactly.
So let's say somebody is not a loyal fan yet. What's the first song you would want a new listener to listen to?
Okay, I think Spring 17, it's like
100% agree.
Yeah, I like that one is very special to me because that was about like this relationship I had, but it was like he's still to this day one of my good friends, and I don't know, that like that's around when I was homeless and it was kind of like this ride or die feeling, and yeah, I think it's a very sweet song, and it's like, I don't know, musically too, I think it encapsulates like a lot of my influences.
I 100% agree. If I was to suggest one song, I would say Spring 17.
Awesome.
Funky, when you actually like really pay attention, you're like, once again, like this took a dark turn. it just feels really good.
It's like, what is it, like Spring Forever, you're the song I want to hear, forever, blue skies forever dear, might be a moment, but tonight I'm standing here like it's forever, you and me, and then it's just like, until we get bored or we die.
You see,
like it's gonna be together.
That dark turn.
Yeah.
Someone had to take that left.
Yeah.
Loyal Lobos, thank you so much for coming through. Dash Radio takes a lot of pride in being able to talk and connect with artists that we feel like are gonna have a great career and a long career.
Thank you.
So, no, of course, thank you. We had Billie Eilish's first radio interview.
She's so dope.
So dope. We had Cardi B's first radio interview. Arlo Parks' first radio interview, Post Malone. I know this isn't your first interview, but I like to say we're investing in you early.
It's my first radio, like I did independent radio, but I've never done like.
There we go. We got Loyal Lobos' first radio interview.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody you want to shout out before we hop off?
I mean, I feel like I gave everyone a shout out. We talked about Evan, OG, Loyal Lobos. Dude, I still make all my music with him. Yeah. Who else? Yeah, my parents.
Shout out
I'm
to the
here.
supporting parents. Supporting your
Yes.
story would not be, you wouldn't have got this far without your parents.
No, absolutely.
Supporting you,
Yeah.
letting you leave the country, financially supporting you, mentally supporting you,
Yeah.
emotionally supporting you.
Yeah.
So shout
Such a
out to your
gift.
parents.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out to your parents. One day we'll make it out to the farm in Colombia. I want some
Pull up.
organic avocados.
I mean this when I invite people. Like, you're
Okay,
invited
thank
whenever you
I
want.
heard you guys got great avocados over there.
Yes, and those are not the Has one. It's like the bigger ones. So the
like
skin
the-
is thinner and they're way creamier.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Loyal Lobos, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Como Si Nada is out now.
Yes.
Una Feliz will be out around the time this interview drops.
Yes.
So anyone who watches this, you can listen to the EP right now and just get ready for more because Loyal has a
coming.
lot in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Once again, this was Loyal Lobos.
Thank you.
Wand. We're here at Dash Radio. And go check her out now if you haven't already.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Bye. Boom.